She warned me not to open the door to strangers.
Uh-oh.
She says if I ever hear knocking on the front door, I must go up to my room really fast and lock the door. But I don't like going upstairs. I heard a doggy barking.
Emily loved dogs, and when her own pet Bailey went missing, she was devastated and began spending all of her time searching for the beloved animal. She wandered around the area looking for him, called around to local shelters, and even posted flyers around town, offering a cash reward for anyone who found Bailey, but so far she had had no luck. However, in the weeks following Bailey's disappearance, Emily began to receive strange phone calls from an unknown number, but when she answers, there's only silence on the other end. Then, during one of her many searches for Bailey, she finds that someone has been tearing down the flyers she put up. Finally, Emily starts to have nightmares that Bailey is dead. And then there are the Wegman tapes.
My milk, I really love my milk. 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 Trundo loves milk.
Okay, I know that some of my younger viewers are probably thinking, Theft King, what the fuck is this? William Wegman is best known for his photography of dogs. His compositions often depict the animals dressed as humans and also just as humans. Like, they'll have hands and human proportions and all that stuff, but a dog head. I think Wegman himself put it best when he said that it kind of evokes the animal-headed creatures of mythology, like Anubis. Except it's super creepy. In 1989, Wegman was commissioned to produce a series of short films featuring these the dogs, for the public children television series Sesame Street. Like everything on Sesame Street, these shorts were meant to be educational, but in practice, they were often bizarre and confounding. For example, in The Waiter, two patrons are about to order their food when a dog at another table rudely demands the waiter dog's attention, takes forever to order, then continually sends the food back for trivial reasons.
This is a cherry toothpick. I ordered lemon. Right, sir, I'll take it back. Lemon. Toothpick. It still smells like cherry.
All the while, the original two diners attempt to flag down the waiter to no avail. The short ends with the rude dog receiving a complimentary dessert whilst the other two patrons get ignored. I guess that the lesson here is supposed to be that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but that's not really the type of educational message you'd expect from Sesame Street. The actual technique for producing these shorts was entirely practical. They just dress the dog up and have a person hide behind them and puppet the rest of the body using their own. In Wegman's photographs, this effect is actually quite convincing, albeit extremely uncanny, but in these live-action video sequences, it doesn't hold up quite as well. The dogs are looking around and don't really care what the rest of their bodies are doing, and thus you get weird situations like this where the waiter dog appears far more interested in the sandwich than he probably ought to. Emily is a huge fan of the Wegman dog films, and she's been collecting homemade VCR recordings of them, intending to digitize them. However, in the wake of Bailey's disappearance, her tapes begin to act strangely. In the first upload of the series, Emily sits on her bed before a television, watching, you guessed it, the Wegman dogs. In her left hand, she clutches a Polaroid photo of her missing dog, Bailey. It's faint and difficult to read, but written in Sharpie at the bottom of the photo are the words, "He's still out there." However, a few moments later,
Could be trouble.
somehow, this nightmarish image of a dog has made its way into the digitized copy of Sesame Street. It's almost like someone or something replaced that part of the video.
You need to replace this part. What? You need to replace this part.
In the next tape, we're shown a series of old photographs. Most of the early ones appear to be taken during a trip to the local zoo, with the pattern being a photo of an animal followed by a photo of Emily's childlike crayon illustration of said animal. However, mixed in with the zoo photos are others that are harder to explain. The first is of two people sitting on a couch, watching television, their faces censored. Then, a white staircase. The animal photos continue when suddenly we cut to an illustration of the staircase. Then another photo of the staircase with a figure in a blue shirt standing just out of frame. The next drawing depicts the head of a dog peeking through the staircase's banister. However, in the corresponding photograph, there is no dog. Next, we see a photograph of Emily's various illustrations scattered across the floor before the video cuts to camcorder footage. She begins to collect the drawings off of the floor before coming to one that we haven't seen yet. A dog in a flannel shirt standing outside of a window, waving a human hand. Wait a minute, isn't that the same window as... As Emily stares out the window, she's greeted by what appears to be nothing but darkness. However, when we bump up the contrast, we can see that for a brief moment, something was standing there, staring at her. Emily loved dogs, and by extension, she also loved puppies and kittens, but tragically, the Theft King channel didn't yet exist. If Emily had subscribed to Theft King, her dog Bailey wouldn't have run away. Subscribe to Theft King, unless you hate puppies and kittens. We see yet another Sesame Street short, this time depicting a fisher dog, before glitching out and playing back some strange footage of one of the missing posters Emily made for Bailey. Later on, while watching her copy of the aforementioned The Waiter, there's yet another strange glitch.
Lemon toothpaste.
At this point, we're treated to a series of Emily's journal entries detailing the strange things that she's both remembered and experienced since Bailey's disappearance. Someone called again. They haven't found him yet, but someone keeps calling me, and every time I pick up the phone, there's silence on the other end. I keep trying to block out the number, but they just keep calling. I don't recognize the number either. It won't stop me from looking though. I still have hopes that he got picked up by a shelter or someone found him without a collar and took him in. I can only hope that he's safe and sound. I managed to gather a bunch of Wegman tapes. I plan to archive as many as I can find and burn it onto one disc. So far, I've managed to get my hands on Mother Goose, but I'm still in search of two shorts. One is of Batty making pottery, and the other is of Batty and Crookie playing baseball. I hope someone has a copy or recorded it. Spending all of her time looking for Bailey, Emily hasn't spoken to her friends in quite some time, and she receives a birthday gift from one of them who insists that she record herself opening it. Inside is a copy of Hardly Gold, one of the longest Wegman tapes. Emily expresses that she's thrilled with the gift, and she uses the remaining film on her camera to show her friend the photo album that she's been compiling. The album mostly consists of images that we've already seen, various zoo animals and the like. We see the earlier censored photo, but this time the heads are covered with construction paper animal heads. In fact, Emily seems to do this to all of the faces in her photographs. She even covers her own head with that of a paper dog. Interestingly, she labels this photo as family, suggesting that these two are perhaps her parents. However, when Emily reaches the photos that depict the staircase, we see her tap her finger on a certain spot, the same exact spot that the dog head appeared in her illustration. Emily's camera audio isn't working, so we don't know exactly what she's saying, but it's become clear that all of her illustrations are things that she actually saw. Emily documents what she witnesses. When Emily goes to the zoo, she draws the animals that she sees. We know because each of them has a corresponding photograph. She then draws the strange, dog-like figure staring at her through her window, and while there's no corresponding photograph, in the video footage we see the same creature really was present in the window. Something was staring at Emily from between the bars on the staircase. Something dog-shaped. Right before she can reach the final photo depicting her and Bailey, Emily's camera dies, but when she heads to bed, she has the nightmare once again. I keep having that dream again, the one where you're no longer with me. I know you're still out there. I keep going around asking my neighbors to keep an eye out for you. I'm sorry, I couldn't come home and you must have gone to look for me. This is our first indication regarding what really happened the day that Bailey went missing. Apparently, the dog ran away whilst Emily was out of the house, and she seems to blame herself for his departure. I will find you. No matter how little sleep I get each day, you mean more to me. I can't live without you, Bailey. I love you. The next page is ripped, with only the first few words visible. Someone keeps taking the posters down. I had to keep putting them. I found some old photos while looking for photos of Bailey. They were from my old home. I also found some old paintings of mine. There was also a book I made when I was about 7 or 8. Would you like to take a look? We can look at them together. You won't be alone. We see a photograph of an outstretched arm pointing at something elsewhere in the room. The ominous staircase looms in the background. In the next photo, we see what the hand was presumably pointing at, a strange figure with their face obscured. Finally, we see Emily standing by the staircase. It appears to be mostly censored, but there's something behind her. in the exact same position as... In the climax of the series so far, Emily films herself reciting My Best Friend, the storybook she wrote several years prior while living at her old home.
Mommy has left to go to work. And I love to play all by myself. She warned me not to open the door to strangers. And she always has a key to open the door. She says if I ever hear knocking on the front door, I must go up to my room really, really fast and lock the door until she comes home.
Emily's mother is scared of something that she fears is coming after her daughter. Out of an abundance of caution, Emily is taught to never open the door for strangers. Her mother has a key to the house, so she'll never knock on the door. She'll just let herself in. Thus, if Emily ever does hear someone knocking, it isn't her mother, and she's to flee to her bedroom and lock the door. However, there's just one problem: the staircase.
But I don't like going upstairs.
Finally, we learn exactly what it is about the staircase that Emily finds so horrifying.
There's a really big hole in the wall that's really scary. Sometimes I can hear it creaking from in there. One day, I ran really, really fast past it. When I did, I heard a doggy barking. And then silence. I took my flashlight and went to take a look.
Armed with a flashlight, Emily finally works up the courage to investigate the crawl space next to the stairs, and she finds the source of the sounds.
And then I met my new best friend. The end.
Finally, we return to where the series began. Emily, sitting on her bed, watching the very tape we just witnessed, the Polaroid still in her hand.
Why was it closed? Was she just forgetful? Or was she in trouble? Crookie found a rock wedged in the tire. Number 4. How odd. That should keep her out of the way.
Did you give her more nerve, Nana?
I tied her up and put her in the old geologist shack.
Good.
Good.
Before they're on to us, we'll be in Canada.
Over here?
Over there.
Through here. Over here. I definitely heard a sound. Over here. Not here.
Side.
Okay.
Who do you think they be?
Beyond.
Maybe
Only.
dog is still out there. Can you think? Oh, dog is still out there. Anyway,
Music box.
the boys return back. Right over.
Ah, if it isn't my former friend turned arch rival, so we meet again. Not all of Wegman's dog photographs depict them as humans. For example, in the... Actually, never mind, let's just stick to the ones where they have hands. Okay, so we started in the Bailey verse. Then we ended up in the scary dog verse. And Emily, Mrs. Bailey. And at the end, the missing dog became a person. That's just a theory.